Good afternoon. This is Pastor T, author of Stop Falling for the Okie Doke, How the Lie of Race Continues to Undermine Our Country. There's a lot of conversation right now about the security of our elections and the vulnerability of our electoral system as it currently exists. I want to read an excerpt from my book, pages 48 and 49, and offer a brief comment. An article in the Free Press on March 20th, 2004, entitled "Voting Paper Trail Advocate Dies in Tragic Accident," recounted the untimely and suspicious death of Ethan Gibbs, who was a tireless advocate for developing voting machines that truly provided a paper trail that could help to prevent a repeat of the 2000 election debacle. The subject line on Tuesday's email read, "Another mysterious accident. Ethan Gibbs dead, Diebold lives." The story that followed addressed the sudden, tragic, and untimely death of perhaps the nation's most insistent advocate for a verifiable voting machine paper trail in place of the ubiquitous touchscreen voting machines. Gibbs was an accountant with more than 30 years experience, who felt compelled to design the True Vote system in the wake of the 2000 Florida presidential election debacle. He was killed on Friday, March 12, 2004, when his car collided with an 18-wheeler. Some will insist that Gibbs' death was simply an unfortunate coincidence. However, the article observes, Gibbs' death bears heightened scrutiny because of the way he lived his life after the 2000 presidential election. I interviewed Ethan Gibbs in January of this year. He said, "I've been an accountant and auditor for more than 30 years. Electronic voting machines that don't supply a paper trail go against every principle of accounting and auditing that's being taught in American business schools. The machines typically used by American businesses for the purposes of tabulation and auditing are designed to provide paper trails," Gibbs asserted, "that there isn't a business in America that would purchase or use a machine that didn't produce a paper trail to verify transaction results. How much more concerning is it that our country uses voting machines that, according to experts, can be easily hacked and have no paper trail?" Now, family, here's the way Gibbs' True Voting machine works. After the voter touches the screen to make their choices, a paper ballot prints out. The voter can then compare what appears on the paper with the votes they intended to cast. Once they have confirmed the accuracy of the printed ballot, the ballot is then dropped into a lockbox, and the voter receives a numbered receipt. The receipt allows the voter to track their ballot to ensure that it was transported to the central location for the tabulation of votes. The paper ballot is also a reliable backup to the votes electronically registered in the machine, so in the event of a recount, the paper ballots can accurately determine the will of the voters. Wow, what a concept. And so, if our elected officials and others are actually interested in having election results that mirror the will of the voters, the expressed will of the voters, we need to develop these types of machines, not the current corporate folks that do them, but engage an independent company that's not tied to any political party, any ideological agenda, but that will develop a voting machine that has a paper backup that can then confirm the vote that you intended to cast on the screen, that is the paper that you put into the lockbox. And frankly, since our system has shown itself to be so vulnerable, what we should probably do is just add extra people to count ballots all over the country and count the paper ballots and let the electronic votes be the backup. And then we can see if they line up, if they coordinate or not. If they do, great. If they don't, then it'll be a sure sign that there's some monkeying around going on with our system. The Russians wanted to destabilize our democracy in 2016. They have done so. It's 2018, and we're still talking about them, and with no end in sight. We need to have a paper ballot backup now, in time for 2018, and certainly in time for 2020. Over and out.